Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, he's got a theory that aliens harvest their crops using tractor beams. Well, he's also known as my co-host, he's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening, welcome one and all.
The dad jokes are coming thick and fast already, and welcome back
indeed.
to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for joining us, new listeners, and of course you repeat offenders.
Keep
Thank you for coming along.
Yeah.
I know, we're intermittent.
Yeah.
We're still intermittent, but we're here.
We're
not
going
putting the energy in.
Yes, of course.
But it's all going to be coming back to normal at some point. But bear with us.
Yes, just bear with us for the.
We do have an exciting show for you, and this
always.
could end up in a bit of a debate. In terms of ufology and what's kind of legit in terms of ufology. This week we're going to be talking about crop circles.
Oh, the great crop circles.
Yes,
been
well,
after this for a while.
It all sparked off in 1678 when a news pamphlet sparked and started making waves due to the Mowing Devil.
It did, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Well, stranger news out of Hertfordshire is that's what the publication was called, and it claims that some of the crop circle devotees say that this is the first depictions of a crop circle.
Yeah.
We'll be getting into that,
We will.
but also one of the main reasons for crop circles, aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
are
Aliens
crop
always
circles messages from aliens for us here on Earth?
Oh, well, we'll soon find out, won't we?
Well, again, we've got a lot to unpack,
We
as
have.
well as,
Us.
you know, the concept of crop circles did start to boost in the 90s. There was the movie Signs.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And there was two chaps in particular, when it was, big and there was a bit of momentum behind the crop circles
That's right,
thing. There was two
991.
men who claimed to be the original hoaxers
Yeah.
responsible for all crop circles made. So,
Well, there has to be a
there's a few
really old
there's definitely a few angles on this
There is.
we can go down, but
Yeah.
that's coming all up in the show.
It is.
Cool your jets,
Yes, we'll
You know,
get there soon.
hang fire, don't worry, it's all coming up. So I've got a question for you, Taylor.
Yeah.
So, based on the idea that anything is possible,
Yeah.
is it then possible for anything to be impossible?
Probably.
I'd say it's all possible, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's all if it can be done or if it can't.
Because we were
done,
talking
then
about this, so if if nothing's impossible, that's the phrase everyone says. That's quite inspiring and quite positive.
But the impossible, that means the end of something
Well,
to
no,
me.
I'd suggest that if everything is possible, therefore, and especially if we're going down multiverses, which the MCU's doing a lot, and everyone's starting to understand a little bit more nowadays, like multiverse dimension, new dimensions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then if there's a universe out there that, every possibility is played out, then every impossibility must be played out also. There must be a universe where all the negative sides or multiple universe. Anyway,
it's like the
So therefore-
monkeys and typewriters.
no, maybe.
Well,
that's just another infinite.
If you had an
infinite quest.
time, you could.
I saw this today, and I don't know how legit it is. Yeah,
Hmm.
right. If this is a true thing, someone was talking about a time travel tattoo. Right?
Time travel
Have you seen
tattoo?
this? It was a TikTok thing, and I seen it, and I thought, oh dear, yeah. Because
Was it fade after a time?
no,
or?
basically, it's a time travel tattoo, and it's the infinity symbol with a candle above it, and it just looks like a man's genitals, but people are getting them, and it's called. I have no idea. I've only seen it once, and I was just like, "Is that a thing?
Is this a new
If
membership?
this is a thing, let me know, because I mean, I'm down for a time travel tattoo, but generally I don't want a cock on my arm or anything like that. Cock and balls. But yeah, I mean, is this a thing? Let me know, because
Yeah, it's a new thing
is this a
that's
new
coming.
thing? Because
It's first time
infinity,
I've
I
heard
can
of it.
appreciate the infinity bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the candle? Yeah, interesting one. Yeah, so
Well, yeah. It just made me think about that light that's lasted
It's crazy.
300 years or something.
and in terms, mate, we're already getting into the metaphysical.
Yeah.
Early on in the show.
Yeah.
But one thing that's kind of baffled my head at the moment. Welcome back to 1986.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's high cut swimsuits and acid wash jeans. Top Gun's at the pictures.
Again.
Kate Bush is at number 1.
Yeah, finally.
I mean, have we slipped into a wormhole?
I
think
know.
something's going on.
Well,
Stranger Things, I think this week saw the second volume, if you want to call it a volume. Do you think this is shady by Netflix?
Well,
it seems to be a bit of a shady business practice. I mentioned it earlier on in another show where it was like, you know, whether you're just doing it so you've got to pay for the next month's billing subscription.
probably,
Now,
but
in my book of things, right? If I ruled the world, a volume would be equal parts, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to go, we're going to give you 7 episodes or 5 episodes, we're going to give you a volume, or even if it was
it's like a film, innit? It is one film.
They're like shady encyclopedia salesmen over at Netflix. They're like, we'll give you A through
Anything to get
G
your money.
in one volume.
Well, you were saying that,
and then it was
the
literally
length.
like, so you get like what, 5
Well, in the
to
first
7
volume.
episodes, and then the second volume is 2 episodes. And fair enough, they were a little bit longer.
How long though? Is it?
I
You're talking
honestly
5 minutes, or you're
couldn't
talking
tell
45
you. There
minutes?
was a good couple of minutes extra. You know what I mean? It was a good double episode, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you go ahead and subscribe again and watch that,
Well, what if they did
then
it?
you're going to predict them to carry that kind of thing on.
If it was a case of that they said, right, look, we're going to put this out weekly, and we know that we've got 8 episodes, 9 episodes, which that's in fact how many there was, 9 episodes, right? You could still get the 2 billing subscriptions out, but you know, portion it off over those 2 months. Whereas, and I wouldn't personally feel like I was being robbed, because I'm like, you know, literally it's spread out. Whereas you're getting the chunk on one billing subscription, but then only getting the last episode. It's like someone ripping the last page out of a book and saying, oh, well, you give us another 20 quid and I'll let you have the end. You know what I mean? Almost.
This is one of them things that I think we lost and we need to gain back, is like when they put stuff out there.
I mean, I appreciate the binge because I do like binge watching shows.
Yeah, but they're making you do something you don't want to do.
Yeah,
but
they
you
get
do
you over
it.
a barrel, don't they?
Yeah, so it's down to you. And if the more people turn around and went, you know what? Nah, bugger that. Nah, I ain't watching the end of that. So I
want to see. That's the problem. We want to see the end.
Yeah, because they're getting to your synapses and stuff, and like getting you.
Well, what do you guys think? Do you
watch
think it's shady, or do you just think I'm happy
Definitely shady.
Is it good quality programming that you're just quite happy to get in any form, dribs and drabs, or what?
Well,
I don't know. Let's see
yeah.
what happens. Because obviously,
That's right.
then it is gonna. There is gonna be a season 5.
Yeah,
so that's something to look forward to. But the Duffer Brothers have said,
yeah, but how many volumes is that going to be? Like 27.
They're going to wrap it up in this next season. So it's like they've said they had a story arc that they were kind of sticking to. They thought it might be around 4 to 5 series, and it's turned out that the story they want to tell is going to take 5 series. So
then
there
6,
will be another series.
7.
No, that'll be it.
Well,
I think that's a good way of doing it, because I think when these shows start going into like 27 series, and it's like, well, what was the point of this again?
Well, yeah, and how many programs have you seen where you're looking forward to the next series coming
and then
up,
they cancel it?
Yeah, and it's like, hold on, there's so many questions to answer, and it's like, bang, now it's down to your imagination.
Well, we get back to the going into what's going on in the world, and as well as UFO news. It's been World UFO Day. It was the other day, actually. We were planning on recording on UFO Day.
We were,
but we ended up postponing it to today.
Yeah.
But yeah, celebrated UFO Day. Did anybody do anything? Did anybody see any UFOs?
Oh, I hope so. I hope there's plenty of videos and photos out there. If you've got them, send them in to us.
Going into the crop circle thing, I was watching a documentary there, part of the research for this episode, and there was a guy who was saying, if you do actually want to see UFOs, don't go to crop circle locations, go to UFO hotspots. You'll more likely see one.
Yeah. And you'll most likely get picked up, because, like, while you're hanging around, you're like,
that kind of makes me think that leans towards a hoax thing as well, because it's like, oh, you won't see any UFOs around here. You'll only see a man with a plank of wood.
Well, yeah, but we're getting to that.
Oh, well, we can get into it in a minute, because just an update on our news. We do have merch available, which is over on the website.
Yeah.
The fantastic design by Ross Cookie. It's great. I love that design. If you want to
do.
get a T-shirt, you can go over to the website and purchase one from there. Also, we're available on Patreon at patreon.com/neverastraightAnswer or buy me a coffee /NASA.
Oh, I love a coffee. Oh, yeah, I love a coffee.
So, this week's episode is brought to you in part by Audible.
Yes, it is.
And as always, Audible is offering a trial offer to. It's a great way to get new customers into audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
And make the most
get into it.
of every storytelling moment.
An opportunity.
It is a very good opportunity. And with their free trial, customers will receive one free audiobook of their choice. Theirs to keep, even if you cancel your subscription. Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks in their trial and the ability to choose from a world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fis, romances, mysteries and classics, and a lot more.
It is massive.
After 30 days, they will receive 1 book each month for the cost of $7.99.
Ooh, cracking value, especially these
It's an
days.
auto-renew, so, if you want to cancel, make sure you cancel before the renewable date.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you will receive a new book token every month, and you can choose yourself a new audiobook.
Yeah.
They're great for, if you want to, it sounds super bad parenting, but if, you've not got time to read your kids...
Yeah, here's Harry Potter.
You can stick Harry Potter on.
Yeah,
on the audiobook, and like Stephen Fry.
Yeah, because it used to be TV in the old days. Now it's like, here's your phone.
Yeah, but would you prefer your kids to rather go, I'm going to watch telly for an hour before I fall asleep, or read a book before they go to sleep, or like you've just said, a game or using the phone, or sticking an audiobook on? I think that's the more wholesome sort of way.
Yeah, well, I'd have to go between the
depends
TV.
what they're reading. If it was something reading,
will it knock them out? You know what I mean? Will it knock him out in 5 minutes? Which is the fastest?
Well, if you'd like to take the trial up, you can go over to the link in the description where there'll be a link to Audible and the free trial.
And get there before it goes, because it will go at one point or another, especially the way things are going at the moment. So,
What you'd say was like, well, no, due to the war in Ukraine, there'll be no more audiobooks. They're burning them all.
It's financial issues,
nah,
we have to cut back.
I can't see it. I think there'll be... people do have to cut back.
Yeah.
And I understand that
the firms, you know what I mean?
It's the subscription content services that are going first.
Yeah.
Because... I mean, when you look at the big picture, it's like, right, kids, do you want Disney Plus this month, or do you want food?
Yeah.
And it's like, well...
Disney Plus, please.
Did you know what? More than likely, say it.
Yeah.
So, the history of crop circles, it's a pretty interesting one, because, I mean, when I was reading about this Mowing Devil, it made me think, like, well, that surely sounds like, an earth-based, ground-based...
Sounds more spooky than it does alien.
Sounds more cryptid, doesn't it? Like it's some sort of entity.
It was very
creating
pagan
marking
areas. Circles
in the corn and that. And you're right, it was very pagan, especially in the 1600s. So this is a 1678.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, a pamphlet started gaining traction when the story of the Mowing Devil was introduced. It was kind of like you say, it was creating huge rings or arcs of mushrooms.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly doing...
And this actually links to another, pretty ancient English sort of mythology.
Yeah.
Is fairies, right? Because they used to do that. It was reported that arcs of mushrooms and circles in the grass were linked to fairies, and fairy rings... Actually,
that's true. Yeah,
you can find out about fairy rings.
Yes, you can.
And what was it? So they do a big thing at the Natural History of Stratfordshire.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, apparently. So you can see that. But
don't forget, Wiltshire is number one spot where a lot of it happens, but it does happen worldwide. It's not necessarily just in England. You know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, these things occur quite often. There was actually quite a lot of accounts about circles forming in fields.
Yeah.
And being accounted to weather patterns. So the way the
which
corn,
I can see some could.
so mini hurricanes, mini tornadoes, that sort of thing could create these sort of spiraling patterns in the corn.
Nature is a funny thing.
Now, there was actually another case of a farmer. I can't remember the exact date, but he was basically come out of his house. He was just about to kind of deal with his livestock and all the rest of it when he saw something coming out of the atmosphere.
Right.
More than likely a meteorite.
Yeah.
Right. But when he went to kind of check out the meteorite impact crater, right, which he found, he described it as leaving circular ring formations in the crops up to the crash site. So it'd almost like if it was like reaching that sonic boom sort of level where the atmosphere against this object flying through the atmosphere was creating some sort of shockwave that disturbed the ground below it. And this farmer reckons that there was around 3 crop circles like up to the run up to the crater, like, and which he found like, you know, a glassy kind of like what you'd expect from a meteorite impact, like, and that kind of interested me because it was an atmospheric pressure that caused because I mean, look at corn. Corn's not exactly the strongest of you know.
No,
things.
But parts of it are. Which is a
totally get where you're going because they do have the knuckle on the corn,
the node,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And it always interests me as well because I put this to you as well, because I'm a bit of a skeptic when it comes to these things, right? And I do believe that to a point these things existed, but there must have been some sort of scientific explanation for them, i.e., weather patterns or something to do with nature, right?
Yeah.
I mean, circles are quite common, right, in nature, and when even with this Mowing Devil thing, it's like, well, that's not a UFO coming. That seems more
like the devil come out, a demon.
It's like, well, the devil's doing the garden, and he's got the mower out, so it's like it doesn't sound too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, but the farmer would be like, "Yeah, you're just a couple of hours too early, mate. You know what I mean? Like,
but you've just ruined me crop.
you ruined my crop now. Thank you very much."
I mean, the idea of crop circles from these, you know, past tense, do kind of make me go, oh, actually, there was something going on there. There's definitely some unexplained phenomenon.
A lot of the hoaxes has actually brought it forward, but brought it forward as a joke thing. But then they couldn't have done it if there wasn't a past tense of stuff happening like that in the past, and they've just jumped on board and gone, well, let's make it even more bigger and, you know, more fantastic.
So, I mean, what's your earliest account of crop circles as a believer, as somebody who thinks that these are... What do you think crop circles are?
I do believe like a majority of them could be hoaxes, but I also believe that there's aspects and certain crop circles that are actually more difficult to do. I mean, and in like times and like
I think
shapes and like information of it and stuff.
The more simpler formations, I seem them to be the more plausible crop circles. Yeah. In the sense that if you were to say, well, what, using my imagination, is this the base of a UFO that's landed in a field, and then when it's took off, it's created this pattern in the field, which is a representation of the underside of this UFO, this craft. Right?
Yeah.
So when you see these kind of simple designs where it's like 3 circles within a bigger circle, and they've got a bit of fancy pattern just linking them up, or just lines linking them up, that to me is more plausible as a UFO than some of the other ones that you see that are so intricate, and even to the point where there's a famous one with the alien itself, kind of, you know, like Paul.
Yeah.
You know, throwing up a peace sign, and it's got a disc with some binary code on it.
Yes.
And that to me is so... I mean, all for flair and everything, but are these aliens decaling their spaceships with, you know, big graphics underneath just so they can do an imprint in a field? Do you know what I mean? It just seems so far-fetched that this is a print or an underside of a UFO, or, you know, unless these aliens are getting out and doing a Neil Buchanan-style art attack, just to get our attention, and is it all about the picture rather than this ship making an indentation or or is this a landing site or an art installation? Is what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first time that got my interest into it was there was a video with 3 orbs that basically within less than 5 seconds flew over, probably even faster, flew over an area and put an imprint down and went. So at that time I was thinking, is it, there's a video there, let's have a look more into it. But then at one point I was at the case of, nah, it's all fake. But then information was coming through that actually, like the stalks, when they get ploughed down, they are perfectly neated underneath, and you couldn't do that with a piece of wood. You couldn't do it with a piece of equipment, even now.
Well, this is a story from 1963, yeah, and it's actually, I'm not sure, I think it might be the Patrick Moore.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's actually Patrick Moore who described a crater in a potato field. Yeah. And this could be the case I was talking about, actually, yeah. So he's found a crater in a potato field in Wiltshire. Yeah, that is considered one of the probably caused by an unknown meteoric body in a nearby wheat field. There were several circular elliptical areas in the wheats that had been flattened. So this is what he was saying. It was like a meteorite had come down, but it had left in its wake these 3 elliptical circles.
Yeah, but this is a thing that you don't see in every in the majority of crop circles. You don't see an impact of any sort.
Well, I don't know.
There's only the occasional impact, which is going to be an impact. But I can see where you come from about the wave and that from behind it, the power from behind it to what's it doing to the crops as it's passing.
Yeah, I mean that's just one theory. I mean, is it something to do with atmospheric pressure? Is it something to do with
the heat? There's going to be a lot of heat.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some reason, but why it leaves or why it left.
Yeah.
Like, a number of rings or circles left in the crops that, or was it a coincidence that this meteorite just happened to drop near someone's crop circle? I mean, it could be. Yeah,
well, that could be an answer that actually these are target areas that in the future are going to get hit. So, stay out of the way and you might see another picture next time and, information coming.
Talking about other reasons why, this could be not aliens, but and not even just a hoax, but a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Yeah,
right. Is a film that was came out in 1974. Yeah, and it was the first depiction of geometric crop circles. Yeah, and these were created by super intelligent ants.
See.
Yeah. So this is a movie called Phase 6, I think.
Phase 6?
Yeah, I think that's right.
All right. I think I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's a American science fiction horror film, the only feature-length film directed by graphic design and filmmaker Saul Bass.
See.
Yeah.
So it could be nature that's...
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, this is what he's saying. The film has been cited as a possible inspiration or influence behind pranksters who started the phenomenon.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Between, you've got the idea of the Mowing Devil. You've got the idea of this sci-fi movie that came out that left unexplained circles in your field.
Yeah.
I mean... If you were of that era, I mean, you're thinking, do you know what? We've got a field up the road. Could we do this? Do you reckon we could do this, get away with it?
Yeah, well, yeah. Teenagers are teenagers, you know what I mean? Like, to have some fun.
Well, obviously, I mean, there was a surge of ufologists in Wiltshire during the 60s, in just all over the 60s, really. Because there was rumours of saucers, nests of saucers.
Saucers? Where's the cups?
Appearing in the area. I know, yeah. Did they do the where's the Queen sort of shuffle cups game? But they were nothing ever photographed. And then obviously into the 70s, there was still reports Pardon me.
Oh,
I know, yeah.
dirty bugger.
All over the world, but especially in Australia and Canada. But there was always simple circles. They were always small. They were never kind of like...
Yeah, there was no
anything too kind of flamboyant or, like artistic, if you like.
And that's where the pranksters, I would say the pranksters come from.
Well, this is it. These guys, were, especially in Canada, they were just convinced that it was caused by whirlwinds. Yeah, and maybe it was something that they see quite a lot of.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, whereas it might be a rare phenomenon here in the UK.
Yeah,
but where
we could still get them.
The weather, where the weather's worse, they might be quite a common occurrence.
And to be honest, that area would be near enough a perfect pitch for that kind of stuff as well, because it's got all kinds of weathers in between it.
Is there any that stick out in your mind that kind of are rather A, convincing, or B, just a sheer hoax?
There was one in front of the big telescope they had down there, which made it... Well, it basically did a data strip, which actually showed 27 years earlier, Carl Sagan, I think his name was.
Yeah, Carl Sagan was awesome. Yeah. Let me take you on a journey through space.
And he sent basically
the imagination
a data strip through space 27 years beforehand. So in front of this telescope, there was a second one after another crop circle was done, a design of an alien face.
That's the one I was talking about. It seems like that one was very kind of famous because it had a message in binary code.
Yeah.
Now, what did the message say?
That was interesting, actually, the message.
Because it did actually have some sort of like, don't obey your kind of your oppressive masters or something along them lines. Have you got it there?
Beware the bearings of false gifts and their broken promises. They hate opportunists and people who lie to us. Summit was finishing as well, apparently. The conduct is closing.
Yeah, that's right. They were almost saying the conduit is closing.
That's it, the conduit, yeah.
And it was like, what? Is that a doorway? Is it a gateway to a wormhole? That sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, it was.
I believe this one is a hoax. I believe this one is a man-made crop circle. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting.
You see, this is it. Since the start of the 21st century, crop formations have increased in size and complexity.
Yeah.
With some featuring as many as 2,000 different shapes.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like I say, are the artists these aliens, or are they trying to leave us a message, or is it just a human trying to pull the wool over our eyes? I mean, there was something on the news the other day, wasn't it, about, there was a YouTuber who, I was telling you about it, rented a piece of land at Gatwick Airport.
Oh, yeah.
And put, welcome to Luton
Airport.
In massive letters, so it was visible from the plane, and people started panicking, thinking they were arriving in the wrong place.
Pilots are going, I'm in the wrong area.
No, it's fine. But it made the papers.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if, you can kind of pull off... Convince, if this thing just appears and nobody knows where it's from, then obviously your imagination's going to run wild.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, I think the movie Signs had a big help in that during the 90s.
Yeah,
especially the X-Files. Alien telly and alien sort of interest was pretty peaked in the 90s. And with that, crop circles seem to be on the rise. I mean,
joined the rest of the...
Because I've tried to find some recent crop circles and I've struggled. I mean, have you found any recent that
over
have
200
happened in the last month?
Over 200 in the last,
because there is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of art collaborations and art collectives who claim responsibility for these.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially the two guys who claim to be the original pranksters who started it all off.
Who wanted to wind up ufologists.
Yeah. So this was what were they called? I forgot.
Doug.
Doug
and Dave
Bauer and Dave Chorley.
Yeah.
They claim they started up the original hoax by creating literally all of them, they say.
Well, since 1973.
Oh, 1970, starting in 1976. Yeah. Yeah, so they've said that they were inspired by Chorley saucer nest case in Australia, which is quite an interesting case, actually. I'll just try and find the info on it now.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. But there has been over 200 cases already in this country over the last 6 months. Easily.
Oh, do you tell us?
Yeah, well, I haven't got a lot of details apart from the statistics on it. But like I was saying before to you about around the world, I mean, there's a lot between April and August. There's a lot of UFO crop circles supposedly happening in Wiltshire, but like it does go through the winter as well because you do see the patterns in snow. There's not a lot of them, and even in ice, you've actually got patterns that these UFOs or whatever's doing it, pranksters. But to me, the evidence shows that. That like I was saying before about the stalks being put in line and correct and underneath, and like you couldn't do it, you had to individually do it yourself. And then you've got the nodes, which are like the kneecap of the stalk. They have to be
because
highly
they rather
heated.
Bend or they snap as a node. But like you were saying, they need to be really heated to be able to bend.
Really, you could drive over it and it wouldn't go. Except for in the crop circles that I believe that are supposedly like UFOs, then they are 300 times as big, and they actually burst. So that means the only
sounds like Alien.
Well, this is it. High radiation would do that so easily.
Well, maybe. I mean, that is one theory. I mean, going back to the Australian Tully UFO nest incident, so this is where UFO sightings were at a height. Like many other countries around the world, but in particularly Australia, Tully, throughout 1966, many of these sightings were witnessed by multiple people, as well as leaving behind evidence of their visits, i.e. crop circles.
Yeah.
They drew a lot of attention to the locations by national media who, at the time, ran significant stories about the event.
They did.
So, so these guys were quite, obsessed with this idea of the crop circles being UFOs leaving evidence of the visits. So, hypothetically speaking, they wanted us to believe that these were UFO markings from the outset. So how did they go about doing this? Because I remember seeing a report on them a long time ago.
Wood and a piece of string.
It was a piece of wood with a piece of fishing line attached to the baseball cap to make sure they were walking in the straight line. And they always... But the thing is as well, when you look at it and can take in what they say into consideration, that all of these sites where you see them, they're never out in the middle of nowhere. They're always easily accessible by road. They're always like, quite close to town centres. They're never kind of like too disruptive, but like they're always in quite easy to find places.
Well, true. But if you were gonna do draw a picture for someone, you're gonna, do it near where someone at least sees it. And when
put
you
it
do
on the fridge,
when you do it with wood and a piece of string, you actually break and damage the crops. Where the ones where I believe that are from UFOs don't damage the crops.
Well, actually, I
found
a website here, and it does have a news side, and it was the story that I was looking at. It was talking about this crop circle that got found, but it also kind of reminisced them about how crop circles were made, because like they were saying how you can tell based on just the photograph of it, how they know that it's a fake, basically, or it's man-made. So, when you see tram lines down the field, so farmers can walk down there, I assume, and be able to not disrupt the crops. There's easy access, and doesn't leave much evidence of any sort of people being there, so, like, you'll find that most crop circles are in the middle of those tram lines, so
That's
it's easy access.
true. Yeah, that's
doesn't
true.
break the corn too much getting in and trying to start this project.
Yeah, and
so,
you've got all night to do it instead of like there's other ones where it's done within seconds. It's like I just turned me back and there was nothing there, and then bang.
So it was kind of almost like they were saying, "Oh, this is what I remember from older crop circles." So are they starting to come back out? You said there's been over 200. I mean, where locally? Because it's usually, the British
summertime,
the British countryside is always been a hot spot. And I asked you this question: why corn? Why not any other medium to leave these depictions or pictures or flattening of like ground? Because you never see them in wet sand or snow or ice or any other sort of medium than corn.
Well, you do have them in ice. You do have it in snow, but there's not a lot of records of them. That's why majority of them, because cornfields show better impression. But for the real ones as well, there's another aspect to it that nothing can grow there again. Nothing has grown there, and it still leaves a marker.
Well,
that's another way you can prove that it's...
There's been a reported crop circle in Munich, Germany, reported on the 15th of June.
See, they're all around. They're all types of years, but mainly in the summertime we get it.
Yeah, well, that's in Germany. Also in Dorset, the 19th of April. And this is kind of in like a bit of a different sort of maize field, I think. It looks quite pretty. It looks like a buttercup
just
flower
looks like
sort
a
of thing. It just looks like a big flower. It does not look like it's been made very... it looks like it's half finished.
Ah, right.
Yeah, it looks like they kind
Aliens
of got bored. They got bored, wood broke or something, or the strings snapped.
That's probably what happened, or like the farmer caught them in the fields at night. What are you doing in my fields? Get out of my crop.
Even on this website, they say this crop circle looks suspiciously man-made. The quality doesn't meet the standards of true circles.
See, and this is like kind of.
I honestly think they're probably mostly manly made.
Yeah,
man-made, man or womanly made.
Yeah, I agree. But there will be ones out there, and don't forget as well, the military are watching this as well. Military are taking down details ever since.
For you talking about they were watching us?
Oh, I don't think so. Well, hopefully not.
Well, it's obviously, this Australian nest story, when the fact that this happened in Australia in 1966 and then started to happen suspectedly in England, obviously drew a lot of ufologists to Wiltshire with the rumours of the saucer nest appearing in the area, but they were never photographed. There was they were there pre-1970s, apparently, according to reports of circular formations, but nothing like what you'd found in Australia or Canada.
Yeah, and don't forget, Wiltshire's like was said before, paganism. A lot of paganism and a lot of mysteries around there.
Paganism, mate. They were all about the circles, creating circles.
Well, you've got Stonehenge
stone, or you've got kind of the Nine Ladies, or you've got loads of stone circles all over the UK.
No, you've got 3 Stonehenges now.
Oh, mate, there's loads. Yeah. No, there's way more, because if you kind of go to the summer solstice, a lot of people celebrate. They don't just celebrate the summer solstice at Stonehenge. There's other stone circles on ley lines throughout the UK.
Oh yeah.
There's one quite close to us, which we is called Nine Ladies, and it's 9 stones in a circle, and people. It's on a farmer's field, and people just dive on it of summer solstice because they're celebrating, and the farmer doesn't seem to mind as long as you're respectful. Yeah. But it is private land. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so you've got to be wary.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it gives it that area of mysticism that. Like I said before, I don't really like the hoaxes. I mean, there's good, pretty pictures, but
the hoaxes. I mean, if you go back to Bower and Chorley, like in 1991, they actually came clean because there was a big from the 70s. They've been apparently doing these pranks. Yeah. But they made the headlines claiming that it was them who started the phenomenon back in 1978 using a simple tool considered by them a plank of wood, rope, and a baseball cap fitted with a loop of wire just to help them walk in straight lines. To prove their case, they made a circle in front of the journalists
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about that? I mean, do you think that's kind of like is that proof enough to suggest that they were legit pranksters? They made these circles.
They will be one of plenty out there, I would say, and especially now. I think there'll be a lot more now.
Oh yeah, I think there'll be a lot of copycats, and I think a lot of people do. I think they said back in 1991 they were responsible for all of them, apart from around 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I don't believe that, because if the writings from 60, which could have been dust like storms or something like that since 1678, like, and don't forget, all around the world, it's not just here. It's just there has been a lot, and it seems to be a dedicated place. But then loads of people have jumped on it and gone, well, let's do pretty patterns.
Well, no, there is. I mean, there's definitely.
Or is it deliberately done? Is the military turned around and gone, bang, you know, do that every year to cover up the real ones that come?
Give everybody something nice to look at while you don't notice.
Mix it in with the
legitimate ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been, since the 90s, there has been a fair few UK art collectives and circle makers that have kind of cropped up. Hey, do you like what I did there?
Oh,
and they've been creating crop circles in the UK and around the world as part of art practices, as well as commercial clients.
Which so need to have a
so
bit
when
more
you say
of a...
who's saying, do you know what? We need a crop circle. Who can we pay to put us a crop? Who's doing that?
Yeah,
I mean, commercial clients.
It's a job, isn't it?
But like you've just said, I mean, the biggest commercial client you can think of is the government, who's paying them to come in and put a crop circle in every year.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That's a bit fishy. That actually, yeah.
Yeah, and if it is a big business doing it, like, put your advertisement across there as well, so people know, oh, this is an advertising angle, instead of, oh, this is a mystery angle. You know what I mean?
Famous crop circles? Did you realise the Led Zeppelin box set that was released on 7th of September 1990? Actually had a crop circle on the cover.
Oh, did it?
It did indeed.
Oh, see, well, we're getting crop circles in the sky as well over the last 10 years, not further. We've been getting big circles. You've been noticing these?
What?
Big circles in the sky.
No, I've not seen those.
Massive circles.
So cloud circles.
Well, he's sort of, it sort of looks like it, but not. But I think it's more to do with like sun and that kind of stuff to do with instead of aliens. But you never know.
Well, here's another thing. You know, in 2002, the Discovery Channel commissioned 5 aeronautic and astronautic graduate students from MIT to create a crop circle of their own.
Okay.
So they basically said, we want you to duplicate the features that are, you know, prevalent in a normal crop circle, and make a real crop circle, and try and make as good crop circle as you can using their methods. I think they were using as well, you know, obviously with the claims made by Bower and Chorley.
Yeah.
The creation of the circles reported and used in the Discovery Channel's documentary Crop Circles: Mysteries in the Fields. What might be worth checking out?
It might be.
Yes. So, what's the conclusion here then with this crop circles? Because I think that, like, honestly, that anything that's too elaborate is a hoax. It's man-made, right? If it was just like what these guys were finding in Australia, where it's literally what they call a nest, where if you can imagine a nest, it was like almost like flattened corn at the sides, but mounded up in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me is more plausible as a UFO encounter than a wacky pattern that's geometrically great, but it doesn't make me think that's a UFO encounter. That makes me think someone's had too much time on their hands.
Yeah, that's someone who's gone to the pub and thought afterwards, oh, let's go in the farmer's field and like have a little play around, but like then, you know, got technical with it, and like I still think that there's still something there. It's just it's been covered up by hoaxes because like
this is what I'm saying. I think like
there is an element of like
plausibility.
Yeah. There was something there beforehand, and it was for like 400 years, and like, you know, it's so there was definitely something going on. But like I said before, it might have been like weather and that, but then extra stuff has happened.
Right. If it's aliens, right? you'd be kind of like, as a farmer, you'd be like, shit, aliens have landed in my field.
Fucking ruined
They've
my crop,
ruined
yeah.
my crop, right?
Won't be able to deal with any more crop there.
You can't, but
for a
there's
long
no
time.
recourse. Yeah, well, especially if it is aliens, if it's radiation in your soil and all the rest of it, and you can't grow crops there anymore. You've just got this UFO crop circle indentation, which is costing you money. Right?
Yeah.
Who, from a legal standpoint, do you turn to? You've got no one to, really.
No, it's an act of God, isn't it, really?
Well, it's an act
That's
of
what they're
alien.
putting
It's
down
something
to.
out of your control.
Check your
basically.
insurers. Your insurers might cover it.
But if it's a prankster...
Oh, well, then, criminal damage. If you can find it.
It is criminal damage, isn't it?
it's-
Because at the end of the day, it's like if you're destroying their crop, which is their livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if they could, we're
Then
not destroying it, we're just flattening it. Well, you were kind of ruining it, aren't you?
Yeah, if
Do
it
you
was
know what I mean?
if it was an after, crop and like you've still got loads of stalks, have a little play around with it if you want, but then I'm cutting it down tomorrow.
Well, in 1992, Garber Takulis and Robert Dalios, born, both then had age 17.
Yeah,
were the first people to face legal action for creating a crop circle.
fucking good.
Yeah, so they basically created a crop circle, and I think it was 36 meters, 118 feet in diameter. Sorry.
Not bad.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean that's still
Well,
kind
it's still
of
criminal
like
damage,
criminal
yeah.
damage, and they faced prosecution, which was around about $3,000 each
Right.
in damages.
Well, see, they'll do it again.
So
Oh, man.
you just still gotta be kind of like, what's it?
Let the proper. I want to see let the proper crop circles turn up, and not none of these wise guys or ladies with like who want a hoax and have a little.
Well, one of
decoration.
the main things is that nobody ever sees who made it. Yeah, so I could
There
turn around and
is-
say, "Yeah, I made those," and then it's like, "Well, still, I've got no proof that you made it." Like,
But there is a number of videos out there that do show of circled bright objects floating over areas and designing it and going off. Some of them will be hoaxes. Hopefully, not all of them. You know what I mean? Because, but I question them myself, and more than several occasions on watching the videos. It's like,
yeah, I think
could
there's a
it be,
level
can't
where
it
it's
be?
like some of them are more convincing in the simplicity.
Yeah.
And like if it was like I was saying, I don't think that if they are appearing in for any reason, they're not leaving us messages. If it's just an indentation, then it'd look more like what you'd expect to see from the
Might be
Australian
though.
nest situation, where it's literally just a circle. Yeah, no
Might be though.
patterns, just a flattened circle.
we just don't know.
Do you know when you put your tent down and you take it up the next day and the grass is all orange, yellowed and like thinking it's the shape of your tent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'd expect to see, where you've flattened something down because it's been not exposed to the light for a while.
Yeah.
And, you've
Nothing
created an
pigmentation.
indentation in the wheat and the corn, right? If it's just a simple circle and you told me there was a UFO landed there, I might believe you. If you then showed me that one with, for instance, that alien's face or loads of geometric shapes, I'd be like, nah, an artist did that, or a person. I couldn't buy that was the underside of a craft, or because it once it starts crossing the line of being too, too complicated, then it's like, well, that's not just a pattern of a craft making an indentation. That is them trying to communicate, and that's intelligence, and that's trying to come out and make an art piece. Like I said earlier, it does, and I can't see that as being the case.
No, I can't. That's why I don't think a lot of the picture ones ain't. And it's down to me. It's down to the 3 pieces of evidence to show if it is or if it isn't, and that's down to the actual nodes being burst, nodes being.
There has been
massive.
kind of like scorched earth and glass, and when the earth's been heated up.
Yeah,
like,
and then
it's
it
gone,
damages.
so it turns to a glass.
But radiation damages the soil underneath, and that's why you still have impressions. I mean, there was a UFO supposed landing down the road from me, and nothing's grown there since on that patch.
Oh, right, okay.
And that's because of like the radiation. It destroys and disturbs every element. Yeah, so it's destroying everything that's in that little area, and so it takes a lot of time for it to come back to normal. It's the same with the supposed Roswell, English Roswell. That area in the forest, that they cut, the military actually cut and burnt everything down there, because beforehand they were showing patches.
Well, maybe again, it's like if you were the military and you've suspected a non-human or non-Earth entity.
Yeah, because you have been watching.
Maybe you do have to kind of, flame the forest.
Throw something else in.
Well, you don't know what bacterias or kind of diseases or anything that's coming down. You know, from a. This is the thing. I mean, if you look at War of the Worlds, where it was the common cold that ended up destroying this, this alien race, because they didn't know about it, they weren't prepared for it. That's all it takes in the terms of but in that respect, them bringing something along to us. And they talk about that in, when we colonize Mars and stuff. It's like as soon as we step foot on Mars,
that's it.
We're bringing all types of shit along with us. We've polluted the natural landscape and the atmosphere forever. And I mean, it's interesting to think about anyway. Have you got any more, facts about crop circles or any more interesting nuggets that you'd like to go over?
What about that picture, the face, the data strip?
Okay.
On what that was going through, because it was pretty interesting actually about how, because it one of the questions was we are carbon based made, but they were not, supposedly. They were supposedly
what's this from?
Silicon. This was from the data strip, Sagan had sent 27 years earlier. They'd sent a data strip into space, and they would tell basically aliens how big we are.
Yeah, it gave all the information about all our weaknesses.
Yeah, DNA.
Cheers,
what we're made of and stuff like this. And there was interesting things on they're 4 foot. There's 21.3
Wait a minute,
billion.
you just confused me now. Did we get a reply?
Yeah, that the reply turned out in 2002.
Let me guess, in a crop circle.
At Wiltshire.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like that then for some reason. I just I lost myself.
Yeah, I might have lost you.
No, it's all right, go for it.
So there was the date strip we sent told them bits and bobs about us, and the interesting thing was the date strip that actually come back. They live on the third.
Yeah, but you could write it as a hoaxer. You could put any old mumbo jumbo, couldn't you?
You could do, and I would actually like to know if any investigators went there and actually checked about, the radiation, and check about was any of the nodes burst or.
I reckon they would have been, because I mean, obviously, there are people who are hardcore everything, hardcore ufologists, hardcore crop circle people. And, if they got wind of a new crop circle just appeared, locally in Wiltshire, and they're, UK based, well, surely they'd get down there and check it out themselves. Check all the PKEs and all that, the radiation Geiger counters and all that.
But now as well, you've got loads of people who visit just to see the crop circles.
Big tourism, but that's what I mean.
I mean, thousands of people will see one that just turned up last night and just turned in.
Well, that's it. Fine. Maybe it's a deal with the farmer to, get more people in the area to, buy
destroy his crops.
Well, no, right, all right. Then you're a businessman, right? Yeah. So do you take a hit by getting a crop circle that's appeared in your field, and you forfeit a tiny bit of land and a bit of your corn, right? But it draws hundreds of people who are then buying punnets of strawberries and bags of potatoes from your farm shop.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what I mean? Is it a balance there, or are you going to make a bit of cash?
Well, I have to calculate it out.
You've got to wonder why these people go, visit the world's largest ball of string, because it's a tourist draw. True. I mean, people are fucking stupid enough. I'd go and see that.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm stupid. It's just that,
if it was passing,
I wouldn't mind seeing a large ball of string or a big toothbrush or something.
At least you can say you've seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the whole idea of it.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's a tourist draw. So I mean, it's like if I was a farmer and I needed a bit extra income, and somebody could make me a crop circle.
Yeah, but then
at the height of crop circle mania, of course, smash that.
But then you've got the chance of like some people coming down and going, "Oh right, well, I'm going to try and make one. Let's see how easy it is." And everyone's bloody farm, we won't be able to get our food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think like during the 90s, I mean, these guys say they made them all, but I think like if I was a farmer who saw that on the news and thought, well, check all the tourism they've got, I might have a go.
Are they admitting charges as well?
I wonder how many farmers out there would admit to making their own crop circle in the dead of night.
Yeah, you're gonna have the odd 2,000-3,000.
If you're a farmer that's made a crop circle to get tourism, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, because it is a viable idea. It happens all over the place.
Tourism's big, isn't it? Like they say, what's the difference between making something like that or the biggest ball of string? I think. If you can attract tourism by creating something like, and I say mostly, for the most part, they're very artistic.
Yeah.
And if you can see something, if you've got a drone and you want to fly that about, get some footage of a crop circle, then you might go down there.
Helicopter ride would be perfect.
End up going to their cafe or farmer's shop or something and buying something. I don't know.
But also, don't forget. Down the road, I think it's about 50 miles down the road, there are actual old ones that have been put into the mountainside. There is one of I believe, a monkey.
You mean like the like petroglyph type thing?
Yeah,
the big sort
like you've got that horse that's.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like they're kind of like the Nazca lines, aren't they? But it's like that's done with salt. So they salt the ground so nothing can grow, but then as you're driving down the motorway, you can see like these big depictions.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think,
and it makes an interesting with Nazca lines as well.
As we were talking about with the pagans about we love creating big pieces of artwork. We love kind of making a mark. We like to if you the guy who did the Luton Welcome to Luton thing, it's like. The bigger, the better. Can it be seen from space?
When can we put it on the moon?
I think like that is something that we've always done. We've always created these sort of like circles and patterns.
Yeah.
I just don't think we'll ever change or stop doing it. And if it is alien, maybe that's how they think they can communicate with us. Oh, and if it's not alien, then it's just a really nice kind of art piece. But unfortunately, the fucking farmers suffer.
Well,
it is illegal. Yeah, unfortunately.
So don't be going out and doing it.
Well, there you go.
Well,
we've got a lot more coming up in the show. So, is there anything you want to add?
No, I think that's all right.
Well,
for
if
them,
you've got anything to add, if you want to get in touch and leave us a comment about what you've experienced, have you got any? Have you got any experience with crop circles? Do you have an alternate opinion? Do you believe that there is aliens? Yeah. Do you create crop circles yourself? Are you in an art collective that does this? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Get in touch.
I want you to explain yourself.
Explain yourself, because he's been loving your work, but thinking it was aliens this whole time.
Oh, some of it. Some of it was a bit drab.
Well, we've always got some excellent news, and I think it's about time that we cracked on with it. It's a news. Do you think you're a scat man? Well, this week as always, we've scoured the World Wide Web for the most entertaining, but also hard hitting news around
the world.
In the world, right? Because there's always something going on, isn't there? Yeah.
Not boring. Can't say that.
It's like that scene in Hot Fuzz where it's like there's always something going on, and it's like there is, isn't there?
Definitely.
I found this news story. Yeah. Right. And it's just, you wouldn't expect it, but this is a story about a Florida man, right? Yeah. Now, it's something it's not just every Florida man.
What's this man
Florida man? He posed as a Disney World cast member,
right,
in order to steal a $10,000 R2D2 droid.
What, and he got away with it?
Well, obviously not.
Oh, shame.
He's been caught. But basically, he posed as a Florida We went to Orlando,
deliberately went to
Disneyland,
theft.
Disney World, right. And deputies say that he posed as a Walt Disney World cast member and took the Star Wars R2-D2 droid in the hopes that Disney security wouldn't
notice the little man walking past him.
No, he wanted to be hired by Disney.
Yeah.
By, I don't know, I'm assuming pointing out the security,
security risks
and where, how he'd...
Well, you would have thought that they would have some little GPS on it or something like that, wouldn't you? So how did he think he was going to get away with it?
Well, he's getting charged with grand theft charges.
Oh,
yeah, and obstruction by false information, according to an arrest advocate.
Oh, so lying.
So Orange County Sheriff say on the 31st of May. Deputies were called to the hotel by Disney security. When they arrived, they made contact and they basically were saying that he was wearing a badge and pants and an orange work vest and had a Disney name tag.
Going, hello, welcome to the world of Disney.
Like, are you a new character?
Yeah.
It's what is it? Fucking the thieving little bastard.
Yeah, he sounds like it.
Well, he's stolen R2-D2, but I mean, I don't think he's going to get a job. Do you?
No, I don't think they'll hire him now. He's got a criminal record now.
True.
You know
True. I mean, he might have had one anyway, but I mean, it's like he thought he was kind of doing a good thing by kind of pointing out the security risks, obviously trying to get a job.
True, and but then you should have actually.
I understand that there is like these people who say, I took a risk, I did a thing. Yeah, and an opportunity to show them like what I can do.
Yeah.
These DJs who say that's how I got my big break by going to the radio station and doing something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
True.
I mean, was that his way of thinking? Was he doing something
recognised
criminal?
If he did something that way.
Or was it something that he was trying to? Or was that his excuse?
I think it's his excuse because you would have planned an action like send them a letter saying, right, I'm going to try and rob this, but I'm not really robbing it before.
I mean, a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's one of those where it's like if because
he got
nice
caught.
to have in your house.
Yeah, if he didn't get caught. That's the uncoolness about it, I suppose.
That's the uncoolness. And thievery and crime isn't cool, kids.
Nope, it's not. It's not. Look what you can get. What did he get?
He got in trouble.
Oh, so he might be doing a bit of jail time then.
He might.
I would imagine so.
It's just robbing from Disney.
Well,
chop your hands off.
Probably put up full charges.
Robbing an R2-D2.
Yes.
Yeah, well, see, it's it's not what you do. Don't do it. No. That's all I'll say. Have you got any news for us?
I have actually. A couple of days from now, where on the 7th of July is the 75th anniversary of Roswell.
True. Are they going to go and attempt to storm it again?
I don't think that's going to happen again.
Because I know they do have a big
time
party
they do it
now,
secretly.
They have a big do, like a UFO.
Yeah.
I mean, it was UFO day.
Yeah,
on the
that's
2nd,
true.
like we said earlier. And I think that if
we're right in between.
If you're going to do like a big celebration, then it'd probably be between like Roswell and UFO Day, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, where you can have a party, you can have a party. You know,
we'll have to have a look into that and see what we can find.
Yeah, see if anyone actually videos it and shows us what's actually going on there, or had they closed it down now? If the authorities actually turned around and closed it.
If you're going.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Just send us some photos. We'd love to see what's going on.
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
a video. I don't know.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Yeah. Not too much.
I tell you what, I found this and I thought, talking about having stuff in your collection, like that guy wanted his R2-D2.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Now, what's the biggest geeky sort of thing you could have in your collection, do you think, that's, like uber geek sort of novelty that, no one else is going to have?
I don't know, because there's so many.
Something signed by a celebrity or a figure, or like anything like this,
an arm or something of it,
something like a movie prop potentially.
Yeah.
Check this out, right? A 76 million year old dinosaur skeleton. Is going up for auction.
Nice.
Yeah, Tyrannosaurus. It looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I might be wrong. But
big.
76 million years old.
It's a long time.
New York AP, apparently, whatever that is. So the fossilized skeleton of a T-Rex that roamed the Earth around 76 million years ago is up for auction in New York this month. Sotheby's announced on Tuesday that the gorgeous skeleton will be highlighted in Sotheby's Natural History auction on July the 28th.
Oh, right.
So if you want
a
actual Tyrannosaurus Rex in your man cave,
it will cost you, I don't know, about 20 million,
I'm
something like that.
pretty sure it's going to go for a pretty
lot,
penny. Yeah,
you got your savings, or have a look in your little bank account. You never know.
Well, they appraise. They have an appraisal estimate. For the fossil of 5 million to 8 million.
Oh, right. So it's
not
a bit
too
cheaper
bad.
then,
It's cheaper than I would have expected.
Yeah.
I would have thought in the 20-odd millions.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 8 million for a T-Rex? Is that worth it?
Well, you're going to shove it as well. You're going to
be...
have room, aren't you? I mean, you ain't going to shove it in your front yard, you know what I mean? So the elements get at it.
No, you'd want it protected, and I think that's what I'm saying. If it's in your man cave or in a collector's
Might
space,
be a big man cave,
or in another museum. Maybe another museum might buy it for their natural history exhibits.
Yeah, or someone will buy it and actually contribute it to a museum for show.
Hopefully,
maybe a local museum,
something of good cause rather. I mean, it's sad, isn't it? That I mean, I understand why people have private collections. But it almost takes that away from the world, and I like it when when you hear these stories where it's like, oh well, it was an anonymous bidder and they've give it to a museum.
True, but it's also it's a bit weird that you're buying a skeleton. Of something, that used to live and walk around.
I'm glad it's not a skeleton of a person.
Yeah.
They're not selling them at Sotheby's.
Well, not yet. You never know this day.
These are the bones of Elvis Presley.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know, I suppose. Yeah, because Napoleon's left nut. Went that up for sale not that long ago.
You are joking, mate.
No, I'm pretty sure. It might have been his right nut, but I thought it was his left.
One of his nuts.
Yeah.
Was Sotheby's?
Or was it his I think it might have been his full penis.
But you make your mind up. It was rather his right nut, his left nut, or his penis was up for
a part of his genitals, or all his genitals were sold. It was in like a vinegar pot.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
preserved.
Well, you need to preserve it, don't you? Yeah, and it
Lovely.
went. I think it went for hundreds of thousands. I think it was.
It's Napoleon.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been more impressive if it was Hitler's right bollock, the mysterious one. The disappeared one. Yeah, exactly.
You know where that went? No, don't.
I don't know, and I don't really care.
Aliens.
Yes,
aliens.
It was aliens.
Aliens took
I'm not saying it's aliens, but
it's aliens.
Right. Give me some news, man. Give me some news.
Sweden and Finland have now been given the green light to sign the paperwork to join NATO.
Oh, sweet. Because there was a bit of friction there, saying that Putin was saying, if you join NATO,
it's one of his red lines.
Watch out. I'm a coming. Yeah. So do you think he's going to retaliate?
I think they're prepping for it, to be honest. India's prepping for it now. Also,
I'll just say it. War.
Troops. Yeah, we're in the Cold War already.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Yeah, I think there is kind of
it's a build up.
It is building up, isn't it? And I think it's gone a bit quiet on the media, but then all of a sudden it seems to be really hectic again.
Yeah. Best on the stock markets. Armory companies are eating everything at the minute because a lot of stuff in the stock market have dropped because of all the problems that have been going on. But it's a bit, but hopefully it won't kick off. And NATO's got a new commander now. I couldn't tell you his name.
Yeah, but apparently is he not he's been bred in a laboratory underground to specifically deal with with
Putin.
With Putin,
basically,
he's a genetic experiment who's been trained since birth.
Some super soldier, apparently. Yeah.
Is it Captain America?
Well,
it's come to sock Hitler on the jaw.
He might be.
Putin.
He might be if we get Russia to back off and do all that, but if not, then
when Captain America gets his mighty shield.
Yeah, he's a bit of a shock, actually.
I don't know who this guy is. But
I don't know, but
apparently he seems to be some sort of man
Superman.
plus.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and he's been bred to deal with this matter.
Bred.
Yeah,
he's
apparently
on a diet of Putin's photographs.
Yeah, and dartboards. Yeah, fucking get you yet.
Yeah. I found this story. Biologists have been a bit... There's a couple of biology stories, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were talking about, new life forms that are being discovered.
Yeah.
And I was saying I watched this documentary about this plateau in Venezuela.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah.
It's like it's been untouched and it's got its own, like, microclimate and sort of, like...
It's
ecosystem.
got its own system, yeah.
And when scientists went up there, they found a variety of new species.
Yeah.
But new species can crop up anywhere, because we kind of like recently just have a new water lily that has just cropped up in the botanical gardens in London.
That's right.
And
But was it planted?
It's a brand new species. No one's ever seen it before, and it's just appeared. So it can crop up even in urban environments.
Cross-pollination
new varieties and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is a story about a tree that's actually been there for so long.
Yeah.
They didn't even realise. So this is biologists have found a behemoth tree in North Vancouver.
Behemoth.
Nearly as wide as a Boeing 747.
Whoa, that's big.
The airplane cabin. So if you think about...
Like, take the wings off.
Yeah, so if you think about how wide a Boeing 747 is,
pretty thick.
Thick-wise, like with everybody in it,
Yeah, upside looking up.
Then not lengthways.
Not length.
Let's not get confused.
Yeah,
this is the width of the actual fuselage.
That's
Then
pretty big,
that's pretty wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the biologists have found what is potentially one of the widest trees ever recorded.
Oh, so it might be a record breaker.
Yeah. So we've got one in England, haven't we? What's it called? The Major Oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's in Nottingham.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is held up by scaffolding bars because it's so old that it's literally could collapse.
Then really
on itself.
Should it be counted? Because if it can't hold its
own,
own,
hold your
it's
own weight.
Dying.
No, this definitely can. This one they found in Vancouver.
Yeah.
They reckon that it's between 4.8 to 5.8 meters in diameter. And the tree's diameter is pretty. It's been measured. That's the official verdict. It could end up being one of the biggest trees ever discovered.
Massive, man.
And there you
go.
go.
Well, we are discovering new things, like say, all over the place, everywhere, even under our noses at the minute.
I bet it's really, 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 really old though.
Yeah, I bet there's old squirrels and that in there.
Oh mate, I bet you've seen it all, that tree.
Yeah, I bet it's got loads of cavities.
Oh, you have to lower the tone, don't you?
No,
so
man,
give us some news. Come on, I've got loads.
News. All right, I just found out yesterday, if this is true, that Germany's holding 20 years worth of gas and not even deciding to let it out.
Oh, they've just been keeping it.
Keeping holding it, yeah. It's my gas, man.
Well, how come they're so kind of like...
Because they've been preparing by the sounds of things.
Well, no, because they didn't, because they were about to open that pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they decided not to. And then they were kind of going,
forced to, really,
we need gas. They were kind of going on about how much they needed, and then they've found that they've actually got a stockpile.
Yeah.
Well, they should be sharing it with us. If they've got 20 years worth, then I'm pretty sure that we can find a solution.
The next couple of years.
10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then we're set. Well, it'd be to hold their own, won't it? So there'd be say if they helped spread it around Europe, then it would be about 5 years, if that, worth.
Well, this is what I would always say about Scotland.
Yeah.
It's like Scotland, they want their independence, and I keep seeing things about saying, we're going to get our independence, and we're taking Newcastle, Manchester, and a couple other places with us.
But that's only the SNPs, it's not the people.
Well, if my theory's correct, then I reckon Scotland have found a load of stuff up in the islands, and they're just not telling anyone. And then as soon as they get their independence, they'll be look
at all this gold we got.
We found all this gold and oil and gas.
We've got diamonds under it. We're sitting on a massive diamond.
So if they want to take us with us and that is the case, then I'm down for that.
Yeah. But they won't get anywhere else because like what we've asked them is, if you do leave us, where are you going? Because Europe have already said no. So where are you going?
We'll create our own. Yeah.
And our money as well. You won't be using our money, so you'll create your own money.
Euros.
Which will be
You'd rather create your own money or join the euro?
Well, yeah, but why would you join Euro if Europe turn around and go, well, we don't want you, but you can use that money?
Well, they might join the European Union against Scotland if they ban.
That's it. Well, they've already asked and they've been told no.
Well,
so it's
that's
like,
a shame.
It is.
Well, go on.
Well, there was some pretty good news this week.
Was there?
Yeah, there was.
Enlighten us.
With Ghislaine Maxwell getting 20 years.
It's crazy that, because she got 20 years, but R. Kelly got 30.
And yet she was been dealing with it for like the last 30 years.
Do you think that she's gave up some information, got a reduced sentence? Because it is a bit kind of weird that he seems to.
I think ordeals have been done.
Or is it just a case of who the prosecution and the judge at the time? Because I mean, R. Kelly. I mean,
that was like. Yeah, we expected.
I kind of expected that. I wasn't sure.
Well, I was expecting she should have had 41. She should have had 41 years, but she had 2 years taken off because of time served, and the judge had taken another 10 years off for something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Being cooperative.
Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, because we need to see like the other people come and go to court and not like scarper away with, like some celebrities are saying now, like right, well, why is she being sentenced when no one else has been sentenced for doing the act? Well, she's got the book of who's doing it.
She got a bit of a telling off by the judge, because she was basically saying that, trying to bring up it wasn't me, it was I was under the influence in it.
Yeah.
And the judge had to turn around her and say, look, you're here by your own volition.
Yeah.
It's the actions that you've taken that have got you in this position.
Yeah.
Fucking own it, own up to it, and be fucking. You can't go round like saying, it was that I was under the impression of.
It's true.
It's the same with the Nexium girl, Alex Mack, where she's basically using her status to do a job, procure these girls for, the cult leader, if you like. And in this instance, Epstein. Yeah. And it's exactly the same thing. It's like if she knew exactly what she was doing, so therefore when she's caught, she should face the consequences 100%.
Yeah, but then you've got to flip it as well, and look who they've just sent over to America now. Julian Assange is now finally left and being taken over to America, and he's already stated, even to his wife, that if he goes over there, he won't be coming back out because he would rather commit suicide in there.
So do you think that might be on the cards?
It might be. Well, what's the name's on Suicide Watch? Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, then one Epstein, and then one the other guy in France as well.
Yeah, it didn't really help.
Before they are, it didn't.
It's like, only takes a minute, girl.
It does indeed. No cameras working.
I found this crazy story.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is about 77 people who were rescued from a Nigerian church basement.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So this is after the priest in the church convinced them of the second coming. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And that the second coming was on his way. Yeah. And they should all hunker down in the church basement and wait for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least 77 people were rescued from a church, including 23 children, after the pastor claims the rapture would be taking place in April, before saying later that it's changed to September.
So he liked to keep kiddies on underneath.
He liked to keep everyone under the basement. So basically, he wanted to keep his whole parish. So dozens of people were being kept into the church basement in Nigeria.
Well, let's get it right.
While they awaited the second coming of Jesus Christ. They've all been freed now by police. But, I mean...
Are they going to do charges? Because he's kidnapping, really. And if they never let him out...
Well, they've been kept... Some people in there have been kept in the church since last year, according to local residents. And the pastor encouraged the church members to stay behind and wait for the rapture, a police spokesman said.
Mind fucking, man.
So the rapture is the idea, obviously, that the Christians believe that the second coming of Christ and Jesus will return, like sort of thing. And the pastor had told the church members that it would take place in April, but then obviously later changed his claims to more like the end of September.
As they always do.
I mean, they always do that, don't they? It's like, fucked up the calculations.
September, it'll be January next year, and then it'll be fucking, May next year.
Well, the pastor has been taken into custody by investigators are yet to find any evidence that the church members were forced to stay in the basement. But obviously Nigeria is a deeply religious country.
Yeah.
Many of the religious leaders are, revered.
Yeah.
And they do kind of do what they say. So, it could be a case of that they were just like, no, we were here by our own choice, but by the advisement of our pastor.
Yeah, we trusted what they said. Yeah, so they've been
They got mind
fucked,
freaked.
basically.
Yeah, they got fucking mind freaked. There's probably a lot of them going, nah, you're talking about, and then it's like, come out of the basement, stop fucking. But it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, with them, a lot of them being kids.
And if the rapture is coming, it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to go if you're going to go, or you're going to stay if you're going to stay. At the end of the day.
During questioning, church members insisted that they walked into the basement themselves after several evening Sunday services, according to the president of the local youth group. He added, some of them said that they'd been there since August and told us that they were going. They went in there of January this year. So they've been in there a while.
Yeah, just a bit.
I mean,
get out to go to the sun and
the rapture itself, right? I mean, I can understand where people kind of go with this, but
it is going a bit
because it has gone a bit apocalyptic the last couple of years. Yeah. Right. I mean,
but we can get out of that.
I mean, there's a lot of religious people out there. As a religious Catholic, Christian, however you kind of choose to live your life.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the rapture? Where do you think it's a legit thing that could actually happen? I mean, I've talked to Christians in the past that believe that this whole rapture thing is an actual thing and it's going to happen and you'll get Jesus returning. And I mean, do you think it's got legs? What's the situation there? I mean, if you know more about it, if you've been studying this, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, I've thought about it, and it's like, well, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go either way. You know what I mean?
Do you think you'll be kind of raptured? Do you think you'll be like one of those pure of souls?
No, I think I'll be still here with all.
They'll let you get up there
with you. Yeah.
Well, you think I'm not?
I think us two are going to be the only ones here. Yeah.
I'll be all right. Don't you worry. I'll be like you're pure soul and spirit.
Yeah, you take the south, I'll take the north.
Yeah, we'll light the beacons.
Yeah. But what do you think? Do you think it's?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a religious soul, but I mean, I think it's.
But if
it's kind of one of those.
It's one of them edgy bets.
It's one of those stories in the Bible or other religious texts that almost say it's kind of a keep you in line sort of.
True.
Tool.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Like you've always got to kind of have consequences to try and keep people in line, and it's like and I think heaven and hell is the big one.
I think we're already in hell.
Good, you'll go to heaven. If you're naughty, you'll go to hell, and it's like that's just the idea of that. I mean, it's like we were having a conversation the other week about prison. Yeah. And like, sometimes the idea of just being punished and locked in a cell is enough, and clearly is enough for the vast majority of people who live in society.
Yeah.
That having your liberties and everything about you stripped away and you're kept in a cell, then that's enough to make you be good. Yeah. But,
there's there's things on that.
So the apocalypse is almost like we've done the heaven and hell bit, but we need to kind of cement that by saying, and one day he will return, because then that shit, he could return any minute. It's almost like when you're expecting your parents.
It's like the boogeyman under your bed,
and it's like you throw a party the night before and you're trying to clean up
as
best you can before they get back. Yeah. And it's like you're on edge because they could be back any moment. That's kind of what it's like. It's like, quick, fucking hell, fill that hole. Jesus will be back in a minute. If you fucking hell, fill the pool.
Depends how in depth you are into the religion.
Rolls Royce out of the pool.
Really, because like you find over the the last 20 years that like less and less people are religious. They're not moving on. But then again, you get parts when they do grow and expand.
They are, and I think that the people who are religious these days are more devout and more more religious than the people who are
Some
not.
of them are, but some
you know
of
what I
them
mean?
are quite
I'd
a lot
say
of loose
less
with it
people
as well.
are religious, but the people who are more extreme with the religious.
Yeah. You
So
can
it's
go
like,
that way, yeah.
I mean, it's like in the same sense that people go, "Oh, he's a fundamentalist."
Yeah.
You can easily have Christian fundamentalists
of
or
course.
fucking Jewish
Yeah.
fundamentalists
Yeah.
or any
Buddhist.
any sort of a Buddhist.
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
a Buddhist fundamentalist. Yeah, it's like, but he is a fundamentally a Buddhist who.
Well, we have had Buddhists
Who
over the
take
world as
very, very
done that,
seriously
yeah.
the teachings of the Buddhism,
Yeah.
the Buddhist faith. So, I mean, in that respect, yeah, I could consider him
Yeah, because you're following the faith that you
to the
trust.
letter.
Yeah.
But does that make you a fundamentalist? Whatever.
Well,
Essentially,
I suppose,
yeah. In a way.
Well, I suppose
I'd say
everyone's
so.
on a fundamentalist of something.
Well,
You know what I mean? Because it's the passion that you believe and you want to follow.
do you know aliens? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know who's
A lot of
blaming aliens for COVID?
Who?
The North Koreans.
No.
They say that
They got evidence.
They blame, alien things.
Alien things.
For
chips?
for south of COVID-19 outbreak. They say it's come alien things from the south are coming in and causing COVID.
So they're spreading.
Yeah,
Spreading it around. And
Well, I saw another story where they were saying it was balloons. The South Korea was sending COVID in on balloons to North Korea.
dropping like little parcels of COVID to
Can't see it.
spread it around.
I think it just spread anyway, mate. I
Yeah,
think
because they get, 2,000 visitors a year,
Yeah.
roughly, and one of them might have had it. I mean, it's worldwide, you know what I mean? It only takes,
a minute, girl.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And funny you should bring up COVID. I got one on the COVID as well, that actually it's on the increase, 32%.
It is. I heard this.
Yes, and the monkeypox as well. But COVID's gone up to 2.3 million in England, and it's spreading again all around the world. Let's just hope they don't do another close down.
We've had a lot of big events going
have.
on recently,
It's
and
not over
I
yet.
wouldn't be surprised if that has its hand in why it's spreading a lot more. But I think
Yeah.
like whatever the spread rate is,
Yeah.
we're at a position now where we're just learning to live with it, and I don't think there is going to be a close down in the sense because they're talking about
Hopefully not.
Another booster. Coming up and recommending everyone should get another booster because your immune system isn't going to be like 100%, so you need to get that top up.
But then you got people who've looked
I
into
think
the
in
Pfizer
terms
reports
of like
and stuff
locking
like that.
down and closing the country, I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to do that again.
I don't think a lot of people are going to take the needle this time either.
No, I don't think they will. I think a lot of people kind of like had the needle and then was like, wait a minute, why did I do that?
Yeah,
I think
then reports
the best
coming out
option
saying
now is just to get it.
Yeah.
And have your own immune. I mean, I'm not telling you how to live your life.
No.
I'm just saying, from my perspective, it seems that getting it and recovering from it and building up a natural response is just as good as getting the jab. And if you're worried that you're going to get and maybe feel a bit poorly after having the jab, then why not just get it anyway?
Well,
anyway.
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I could be totally wrong there, but
yeah, and actually, first case against the government about being forced to have the jab just been won as well.
Right,
so
has it?
It opens up. Yeah, she gets £100,000, £120,000 for her husband's death. But if it was fought against the company that the government have covered, she would have been on 180, so it would have, solved a little bit more problems.
But the problem, I mean, the thing is, no amount of money is going to kind of,
that is so true.
like the impact of you losing a loved one, and the fact that she's had to kind of take this to court.
It's been a 2-year
to prove
battle, yeah.
what this is, what's happened. But she's won it. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it
just,
opens up for the rest of
I
them.
mean, the idea that she's had that proven, it must be a win for her.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously the money's going to be a help to but it's not going to be like any.
Oh yeah, no, she'd rather have the her
I think she'd
husband,
rather
obviously,
have a fella,
yeah.
But so I mean, in terms of kind of like, it is a good landmark victory in terms of like other people who've had health conditions based off the jabs they've had or been forced into having jabs where they felt like they didn't want it.
Yeah.
Then
I think there's going to be a lot more over the years coming over this, to be honest. I think it's going to be a long strain of suing, and then it'll come to a part where, let's say, 10 years' time, they go, right, that's it. You know, we've cut off.
If you've not sued us by now, you're not going to sue us. If you've not sued us by now.
But the problem is, it's the government suing. It's the government that's getting sued, which means it's our money that should be going into schools, hospitals,
which is paying
and
out
all that. That's paying out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and don't forget the legal fees. They're going to be even more than what the people are actually getting.
Just throwing it away, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well. I found this interesting, and I think it's something we've covered in the past, and I totally wholeheartedly agree with the French for once.
Oh, why? What have they done?
Vive la France! Yeah. Well, the French have banned the use of the word steak or sausage.
Yeah.
To describe vegetarian products.
Yes, about time. Britain should listen to this.
For this, right? Yeah, because honestly, I've been going on about this for months. It's like, I'm not being funny. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan,
have one of them patties.
Have some vegetarian, but why model it on beef or chicken or a meat product? It just seriously...
Make your own different.
And I'm told by
cow.
vegetarians that this is to kind of make people who eat meat more, open to trying it. Now, I just think if you've got to kind of disguise your vegetables as a burger, then there's something going on with this country.
Yeah, definitely.
That they won't eat a fucking some peas.
What they're trying to do is fuck with our minds when we know if that's got beef, if that's got meat in it, or if that's got vegetables in it.
Plant-based meat alternatives that have come up with the new terminology in France. Obviously, it's not new terminology. Sausage, is it, or steak?
Oh, sausage. You expect meat in it.
They call it a chicken steak or a beef steak, but it made of tofu. Then you're using terminology that's describing it as something that it's
tofu
not.
Steak.
It's not a steak, though.
Yeah, it's tofu looking steak.
Well, that's what you can't do that. That's what I'm saying. It's like you basically using it as so how they put it here is they're using plant-based products from the use of the same name as a food from dead animals. Yeah.
So every country should use this.
So I agree. I think if you're gonna be creating like a pate or something that's plant-based, then make a new name for it or something. I don't know. It's just like but likening it or creating it to look or taste or smell like a meat product.
So they've been trying to twist our melons, man. Yeah, they're trying to get it into our heads like, you need flowers, you don't need meat. And it's like, well, I want meat. You fuck off.
France will become the first European country to ban the use of the words like steak or sausage from being applied to plant-based foods. According to the official decree published on Thursday, the ban, which was originally agreed for 2020, will go ahead in effect around October.
Oh, so it's already had 2 years and a bit delay.
Yeah. So like now anything that you bring out that's plant-based, you're not allowed to refer to it as a kind of a
burger,
a sausage or meat-based product.
Yeah, it's just I've always thought
which kind of makes sense in a lot of ways.
Create your own shit, man. Leave the meat alone.
I know. Yeah,
we know what meat is.
Tomfoolery.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. But shops do that all the time, and that, you know what I mean.
It's marketing, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's another way of them saying,
finally, some governments turn around and gone, "Nah, we're not having this one," and it's about time we should. Get the power back on. Don't just feed us bullshit and then we expect a nice meal and then we put it in and it's like slop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talking about slop.
Oh yeah.
I found this other story as well.
Yeah.
A huge mass of used wet wipes.
Oh.
It's formed an island.
You what?
Yeah, serious.
In the Pacific?
It's formed an island and changed the course of England's second largest river.
Whoa! It's got some power behind the nappy.
Well, mate, these wet wipes, you can get all sticky together and they turn into a big mass. Yeah, a big mass of wet wipes, and then they form. Yeah. And this one's in the Thames in London, and it's changed the course of the river. The wet wipe island is the size of 2 tennis courts.
And I've got to ask the question: why haven't they cleaned the fucker up then?
I know. Well, it happens right in the sewer pipes. They get bergs. They call them like fat bergs.
Yeah.
Right, and this is all stuff that you flush down the toilet or down the sink. It's all grim.
All adds together.
Now, wet wipes, they've got a bit of plastic in them, quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
So they all kind of like, they don't decompose. They all stick together in the sewer.
Yeah. Even though there are
get flushed out into the river. Yeah. So these, over time, I assume, have just basically congealed together.
Yeah.
This is every wet wipe in London that's ever gone down a toilet.
Well, they're just now selling wet wipes where they actually decompose, so they've got no plastic.
I mean,
in
there's
them.
a
It's
lot
about
of them
time.
that do. I buy them, which, do you know the wipes for your kitchen?
Yeah, I do.
And
Yeah.
they are plastic free and decompose.
Yeah,
that's only a recent thing, though, because I remember only a couple of, I think last year, when that fully came in, where a lot of people were like, it was banned to have plastic in those products.
I'm seeing the adverts now, so.
But obviously, this is still a problem because obviously the wet wipe island is the size of 2 tennis courts and has formed in the Thames, causing the river to flow through London to change its course. And this is according to the Times of London.
So the council are complaining about this, the job they're not doing. So it makes two.
Well, no, all the council have done is ask people to stop using wet wipes, and the government have concluded that banning those that contain plastics.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of them. Then. Yeah.
Well, there you go, because a lot of them are.
Yeah,
if you get them from Wilko's.
Yeah.
Here in the UK,
other shops are available.
They're plastic free. I know that for a fact.
See, yeah,
and
I'm thinking of a big famous company who have started doing it.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. Well, they all do them. The cleaning products.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, started to. You know what I mean? Well, I think that's because of little laws that were coming in, but we need to go a bit further. But it's good to see that there is being changes going along instead of talking about it and nothing actually getting done. But we need to recognise we have to look after our own selves as well, you know what I mean? Instead of...
It just makes me laugh, though, because when I see stuff like this that's happening on the news, and then, like, you know, what people will get together for and do, like, a mass event or turn up for a protest or whatever, then... It makes me laugh because, like, the stuff people will turn out for isn't the important stuff.
No, yeah,
so,
totally.
Like, for instance, this news story that I found about cinemas banning groups of youths who are watching Minions dressed in suits.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I don't see the problem with a lot of sharply dressed youngsters.
Lots of groob.
Coming to the cinema.
Yeah.
Not causing too much of a ruckus, but sat there with the fingers together like an evil villain.
Yeah, it's a big TikTok thing at the moment.
Yeah, of course, it seems like it. But why ban them? I mean, would you prefer them all to come dressed as minions?
Well, yeah, they'll probably get you to the side and get pictures with kids and stuff.
Well, it's an interesting trend on social media when the gentle minions tend to see groups of suit-clad teens.
We should all do
documenting their viewing of the latest movie, The Minions. So are they
going to ban us all? The cinemas are having a bad time.
TikToking through the film? Are they spoiling the movie-going experience?
No, they're actually just sat there. The pictures I've seen and the videos I've seen is they're just walking in a line. And then sitting down with the fingers at the front of him. That's it.
I don't know.
They don't even show the movie.
Is this a ban-worthy,
well, I've heard it's
crime?
Well, yeah, exactly. What if everyone did that? You're going to ban everyone? I mean, cinemas have had really bad times lately.
It is, aren't they? And if you're going to turn away everybody coming to see the new Minions movie, what are you trying to do? Make it flop? I heard it. I like the Minions movies.
It's no Top Gun, is it?
People seeing the Minions.
Well, that's it. It's like it's a stupid thing. I mean, let the kids do it. They're not doing any harm in the long run.
No, and if they're going to dress a bit dapper to go to the cinema, then let them have it.
Yeah, because they're having fun at the end of the day, and like the world needs a bit of a cheer up at the moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to cheer me up?
I haven't, mate. I've run out. Yeah,
he's run out.
Yeah,
run out. Cheery.
Yeah, I've only got NASA now.
I'm trying to find you this one. So do you know there was a big scam at the moment?
Oh yes.
About Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So there was, I think I covered one of the things. It was like a teacher. She'd basically put her life savings, £9,000, into a Bitcoin proposal that she's seen on social media that was linked to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right, and it was suggesting that this was going to double her money within a week and triple her money within a month and all the rest of it. Yeah. She ended up losing all the money, but it seems like this is kind of on the rise. I've seen these ads quite a lot recently. I just wanted to say, obviously, if you do see these too good to be true Bitcoin advertisements, then have a bit of a read into it and do a bit of research before you commit any money. Because some of these do look very, they do look very official and too good to be true. Yeah. And usually in these cases, if it's too good to be true, then it often is. And don't fall for it. This school teacher, like I say, she lost £9,000.
Yeah, because it's on you now.
Because obviously it's down to
Con men know how to do it.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you go to the police, and I think we talked about this, where there was an instance with a news article I was seeing about someone running a con in the area about like a new roof. Yeah. And all people were getting scammed for lots of money. Yeah. Now this ex-police officer thought he had a bit of pull, went to the police to report this as a crime, realised he didn't have as much pull as he thought he did. No. And they basically said, civil matter. It's not a police crime. It's not a matter for the police. Now conning people out of money, thousands of pounds, I consider a police matter. Yeah. Right, it's not a civil matter. But then that's putting it in your hands, where you've got to track down these criminals, find a solicitor, take them to court, try and get your money back. It's going to cost you more money. Yeah, and the likelihood you're going to get paid back is... You're probably not going to get it back, or it's paid back in bits and pieces.
So that lawyer's clapping his hands going, oh, yes, thank you for all that, dog.
So, it is a police matter. But unfortunately, on Sunday, hackers actually took control of the British Army's official social media account.
Yes, I believe so.
This was something to do with... basically, this was to advertise the Bitcoin scam. So they've took over the the UK British Army's official social media, running this Bitcoin.
Plenty of people
video.
There. Yeah,
so a lot of people who see
cash loose.
Well, they see that it's being advertised by the British Army.
Then they're going to go for
totally going to go for it anyway. But this crypto scammers had hacked the official army social media to attract billions of individuals worldwide who to try and kind of con them.
Yeah, and I bet they got a couple of million out of them. But then that should be the army need to deal with that.
Totally.
Because it's their system.
You think that the army would have? Well, I suppose Twitter's Twitter, isn't it? And if you've got a social media account, where you're on Facebook or you're on Twitter, then it is down to these websites to make sure that your data is secure. Yeah. So regardless of whether you're the Queen of England or the British Army or the President of the United States, you're all operating under the Twitter or social media rules, And if Twitter can't make their platform secure, or Facebook can't make their platform secure, then even if you're the King of England, mate, your data's still at risk.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing. I don't. This is the thing I've been saying from like the start of like, it's not secure enough. Whatever you put on there, it's going to.
Well, I don't know because I forgot a password earlier, and they basically the hoops I had to jump through to try and get a reset. And then they said they'll email me in 24 hours. Yeah, that seems a bit more secure than most. I remember when back in the day, it'd just be like, "What's your pet?" What's your pet's name? Yeah. And then it'd let you change it. Nowadays, it's two-part authentication. It's retina scans. It's fingerprint. Extreme, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of what you can do to secure your data. It needs to be an easier
system. And the thing is that they've let it out and not put security on it beforehand. And the security has never been that great. You know what I mean? They tell you that the security's good, but in certain aspects it is. But it's like a CEO who come from Norton virus. He left and he turned around and he said, we're secure 40% of it, but 60% of it's still open. We can't do anything about that. And it's a case of like every time they try and sell something to me, it's like no, because I know it's not that secure. The security is within the base.
Well, that's what cookies are, aren't they? So those you're allowing a certain amount of data to go through to suggest that, if you've searched for a pair of Adidas trainers, that the next time you go online, that there'll be 50 ads pointing you to a shoe shop to buy Adidas trainers because they know it's targeted marketing.
That's right.
So they want to do that, but in parts of the terms and conditions, in a lot of these things, if it's an app, a game that you play on an app, there'll be somewhere in the terms and conditions that says that we rather share third-party data, we don't share third-party data, we can extract encrypted data during transit, right?
You
as well as
choice.
a load of other bits of terms and conditions,
right, yeah.
No one ever pays attention to that.
No.
And I wonder how much of this data is actually important in data.
Exactly.
In terms of like bank account details and stuff like that.
Well, this is sort of what I was saying.
You've got to kind of rely on the app stores that you use or the social media platforms that you use to be secure enough that you can sign in and that your data is protected. And unfortunately, a majority of the time it is, but a lot of the time it's not. And
a lot of these systems would have been down if people would read
you're forever
their terms
hearing
and
these
conditions.
sort of like, you know, these stories of, so-and-so broke into 15 million IDs stolen or briefcase lost on a bus with a disc in it with so many people's fucking national insurance numbers in it.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a breach.
Always a breach.
Yeah, and it's about making those breaches less often.
Yeah.
But
it seems to be more often now than.
well, that's because there's more
data around.
Because imagine every individual user, on the internet, right? You're not just using one website. You're using, on average, if you to go into how many websites you've got listed on your computer that require a password and a login, you'd be surprised. So you've got all these websites that, you know, your computer remembers or reacts to and logs you in automatically or whatever. Each individual is generating a massive amount of data. Do you know what I mean? It's like
stupid amount of data that's going through.
So in terms of like, I think it's down to the web providers to make their sites more secure.
We need
as well as taking those little practices on like changing your password every now and again or pretty often, you know, just to make sure that you are kind of protected. Another thing is what people do is use the same password. Maybe try variations or, do you know?
That's a good idea. A strong password or a certain amount of passwords that only you use. So you've got at least a selection to go, wow, that's for that, that's for that.
But they're not all the same password for each individual service. Well, there you
all
go.
Different.
Well, that's the news. We've got some NASA news. I do believe. Have you got some NASA news to kick us off with?
I have. In March 2022, the moon got struck. It got hit by something they don't know what it is.
They've nuked it once. I mean, was it not Earth? Was it an Earthbound
it was
object? Earth object.
They
think
it might be a rocket, but all the rocket whereabouts, it's not working out that it's a rocket at the minute. But they don't understand as well that when it made the impact, it actually made a double impact.
Oh, right.
So something at the side of it hit as well. So
double
it's like,
rocket?
Yeah.
That's pretty metal.
Yeah, and they're still on the case on looking to see what that is.
Well, I mean, talking of the moon, the US Space Agency chief said that China's space program was basically stealing ideas and technology from others. And China rejects NASA's accusatory fashion of saying that it's going to take over the moon.
Oh,
it's like I didn't realise we were in moon wars already.
Yeah, we got Mars. Well, they're on the dark side, you know what I mean? And like they could let a lot of secrets out there.
Well, they're all secrets. Apparently, all the secrets are our secrets. That's what I'm saying. They're all our secrets. They're just stealing them.
Yeah.
And then just going, oh yeah, we can do that too.
Well,
copyright laws, you see. They're all different.
Don't exist over there, no. No such thing.
We're on a fair use. We're not profiting.
Yeah,
that's what they'd say.
Yeah, and it's like
so China on Monday rejected the smear of basically wanting to take over the moon as part of a military program, saying that it's always called for a building of a community of nations in outer space.
Well, yeah, but you just said you're going to take over the fucking moon.
That's the US is saying that they're going to take over the moon, but China is saying no. We've always said we need a community of
I agree with that.
Community in space.
How we deal with the North Pole and that. Split it into certain sections.
Antarctica and stuff. A treaty where we go right. Look, we're in space. This is the moon. We start things on a better foot. I think if we're going to go out into space, we can't be taking the bad fucking vibes and the bad juju we create here on Earth out there
Or are we going to do what we did, what America's did in the West, where you pick it out your length, so
just
you
basically
walk.
it's like fucking flags.
Yeah. So
totally.
you walk and do a picket fence, right? That's.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Fine. It's like we can't be going into space with this.
We need to be careful, to be honest.
With this attitude of ownership.
Yeah,
right. It can't be like that. We can't turn around and say this is mine. You can't step foot on our.
We
planet.
have to do community.
Yeah, it needs
to be a group.
It needs
every
to be
nation.
The human race. Do you know what I mean? And I
That's
don't
what we're
believe that is a good start to spreading out into the stars. I think if we
got that divisions.
We do it, we can do it as one, and not just as a fucking in competition with ourselves. It's just pointless.
Imagine all the space agencies that are out there now.
If we
all together,
we all had a Coke,
we could have 3-4 missions.
Differences aside,
3 or 4 really, really important missions going off at the same time, and then constantly, every couple of years, another 4 missions where they're all helping each other. They're all working out the plans and working, all the mathematics and the equations that are needed
to do it.
And then.
But, until kind of like we all learn to get along.
And that's what the UN was supposed to be for. And they're not doing a really good job for the last, 50 years.
I think the UN caused more fucking wars.
Yeah.
Them and NATO caused more problems than they achieve at the moment. Well, was this a UFO photographed back in 2014 in San Antonio?
Oh, yeah.
It might have been. Because apparently it started, even now people are like, well, it's a UFO. An image shows a UFO photographed in 21st of June 2014.
Yeah.
The pilot of a cockpit of an F-16 military plane, near Lakeland Air Force Base in the United States, and managed to take the snap.
Oh.
The viral Facebook post falsely claimed to show an image of a US military fighter pilot looking out of the cockpit window, apparently. But the UFO photographed on July 21st by the pilot of the cockpit F-16 plane flying near Lackland Air Force Base. They say...
Was it Santa?
What?
Lapland. Was it Lapland?
Lack.
Lapland. I thought you said Lapland.
Not Lapland.
I was going to say, it was Santa on his cruise.
Yeah, so they're saying that this, it came from a different account and then ended up going viral in March. So whether it's the same photo or not. Because they were saying one of them was a false hoax, but one of them was legit. So,
we'll have to find out which one that one.
So we're going to have a look into it. But I think at the moment, Congress is doing a lot of kind of committees and stuff to try and work out. I think they know.
They're not bringing a lot out,
I said this, though, because I think, if anyone knows, it's the governments, right? And if the governments are putting these so-called committees together to try and find out what's going on, we'll just give them the information and they will know. Do you know what I mean? Stop holding back.
Well, it's giving more excuse for him to, all right, we'll spend more money, we talk about it, we'll have people come in, and then we'll turn around and go, no. It was like one of the reports not that long ago that come out, and it was over 1,000 UFO witnesses, and it was actually the same amount that kind of was used in another one long time ago, which was actually, it turned out, it's probably nothing.
Right.
And it was like, what? So you're not counting the new ones that have turned up, or the really good ones that that people have spotted or stuff like that. And it's it's a shame, but I think they're just moving us along, and they might be. We're still talking about it.
Totally, just kind of pussyfooting around.
Well,
I mean, obviously, I mentioned earlier it's been UFO Day. On the 2nd of July. It takes place every year on the 2nd of July. And commemorates the anniversary of the alleged 1947 flying object in Roswell. So obviously, that's why they celebrate UFO Day. It was pretty good. There was a lot of people who turned out for celebrations.
Nice.
It looks pretty interesting. I just found an article about it. So some ufologists and UFO researchers voiced concerns with how the day is observed, as being a tinfoil hat wearing community.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think
Not
more
as much
people are
now
a
as
bit
it used
more
to be.
open-minded these
Yeah.
days to the event, and I think rightly so, because I mean, like, just science.
Yeah, but there's
You know,
still
it's just
people
science.
closed
You
off.
just can't deny it, you know, in terms of and if you sit and think, oh, are we just here and it's all insignificant? You can't nothing else but us. It's pretty depressing.
Yeah, but I always, with that question, I always put in the back of my mind just to make sure that, like, everything starts from one place. So
Okay.
we could be possibly the first and expand and go around. So I always think that as well, to make sure that, like, you know, not one direction to go in.
Yeah, but in the other way, we could have already done that, and then we've
True.
just forgot. Like,
could
you
be
know,
the last
we've
of
lost
the
that.
species,
Yeah, we could rather be the last of the species.
Yeah.
We've got other branches out there, and we just didn't realise we were part of something else.
Yeah, you
bigger.
just got to keep it
Or-
open to
Yeah,
different...
you just got to be open, haven't
Yeah,
you?
well, that's it.
Talking about keeping it open, weather's looking decent for July's first SpaceX Falcon 9 launch, and that's happening on Thursday morning. So if you're
Nice.
interested in watching that, that'll be live on YouTube, so make
might
sure you
watch
check
that,
that
yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet.
Other than that, they've got a fair few missions coming up. They sent something, was it a microwave payload or something the size of a microwave?
Oh, no, that's NASA's lost a satellite the size of a microwave.
Oh, was it? They've lost
Yeah,
one.
and it's about... They reckon it's going to hit the moon. It's actually come out of orbit. I don't know what
Maybe
it's
that was
hitting.
what hit the moon.
Well, no, because that's still on its axis and on its way there. Well, the other one actually happened in March.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, because I thought it might have been the same thing, but
Well, this
no,
is the
this
thing.
one's still waiting.
I think we talked about it last week or the last show about the UK's plans to send up a Gobbler satellite.
Oh, yeah, the
That is
Gobbler.
going to be taking all the debris out of the atmosphere, which is a decent idea and
Yeah.
Pretty British ingenuity.
Yeah, always us first.
Looking forward to seeing that
You know what
in
I mean?
action.
Everyone follow us.
Well, yeah, indeed, and subscribe. Very
Yeah.
good segue there, Mr. Taylor. Because yes, we would love you to subscribe to
Hell
the
yeah.
The show. It does
Please
really
do.
help us out a lot.
Yes.
Whether you're on YouTube or Spotify, any of the podcast
Yeah,
platforms like iHeartRadio, podcast players,
Loads out there,
whatever,
isn't there, nowadays?
iTunes,
Yeah.
wherever you listen to us, make sure you subscribe. And if you can get a friend to subscribe as well,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
Oh, neighbour, postman, milkman.
Milkman,
Yeah, do you get milkman now?
you do.
Just.
I'm just like, I've just got this vision of people going, are you my dad?
Yeah, yeah.
And say,
Hello, Daddy.
can you
Yeah,
subscribe
pint
to
of
this
milk.
podcast?
Don't forget the yogurt next week.
Well, if you've got any questions, queries, or suggestions, make sure you do get in touch. We're open to chat. We'll always reply. We
Yes.
try to.
yes,
It's been
we
a
do.
bit of a mad couple of weeks, and there is
Yeah.
some comments that I do need to reply to, and that will happen. I do apologise if I've left anyone hanging.
Are they nice?
They're lovely, as always.
Yes,
Yeah.
brilliant.
But
Thank
if
you.
you've got any comments, you want to get in touch, you've got any questions, or you've just want to say hiya, make sure you
Yeah.
do. Well, you can go over to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk and hit the contact form.
Yeah.
You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. We're on Instagram at neverstraightanswer and Twitter at NASA_never. We're available on all podcast platforms, like we say. So no matter where you are, you'll always find us by
We're there.
searching the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
And we got a catalogue if you miss
Oh
it.
my days! If you like the show, yeah, we've got 182 extra other episodes plus
And
extras,
Yeah, yeah.
and other content.
Videos.
And
all sorts.
I think a subscribe's the least you can do for
Yeah.
all that free
Yeah.
content.
Thumbs up.
Give us a
Yeah,
thumbs
give
up,
us a
all that
thumbs up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's it for this week. We'll be back. When we back? Next week, week after?
Week
I'm sure
after.
we'll let you know.
Yeah.
We'll post something to let you know when
We
we'll be
will.
back.
Indeed.
But we've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you
Yeah.
next time.
Yes.
As always, I've been Gaz.
I've been saying.
We've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Ow. I think I got frog in my throat.
Ribbit.